Hi there, this is Amanda Frankel with our Crafty Playdate, and today we are going to make these adorable cards. Actually, we're going to make this one, but I'm going to show you a couple of tricks. I'm going to show you cutting tricks so that you can make two at a time. Not two different ones, two similar ones, but it's going to make your life so much easier. And I always tell you, if you're going to make one, make two. It'll save you time. But this card I made for my mom's birthday. It opens like this. So it says, "There's so much to love about you. If flowers were hugs, I'd send you 1,000. Happy birthday." All right, so this is for my mom's birthday. It's a trifold card, and it will fit in a normal standard envelope, which is super important since she lives in another state. She lives in Arizona. This one, I'll just show you. This one uses a couple of things that are bundled now, but are not going to be bundled, which is kind of what I'm going to be making videos for you for the next week. To save you some money coming down the road here. But so some of these things are carrying over, some are not. This paper is not going to be carrying over, and it's got metallic shine in it. So get it quickly. It's going to be gone. I'll show you more about that paper when I'm getting ready to cut. This color is Flirty Flamingo. It is going to be staying in the new catalog. Old Olive is staying. So I think everything else in this is staying. I'm using two stamp sets. One's a sneak peek, and one is actually, this one is actually the one that came with this Cake Soiree stamp set, and that one is going to be going forward, but it is not going to be bundled with the cutting dies. So you definitely want to get on that before June 1st. After June 1st, it's still going to be available, but you will not be able to get 10% off when you order the bundle. This other one, There's So Much to Love About You, and If Flowers Were Hugs, comes out of a brand new stamp set, so you're getting a sneak peek. And on this one, these actually are coming out of a brand new stamp set. And look at this paper. Is that not gorgeous? This paper and these stamps are going to be available. The paper is actually available now as part of a big bundle. And if you're interested in that, it's the Share Everything bundle, and we have 3 different levels of that bundle. So I will definitely post that here for you too, and you can get some of these other cool accessories to go with it. And then the stamp set is something that I was able to pre-order because of the fact that I'm a demonstrator. And you guys could join my team and get new stuff yourself. But in the meantime, let's get started. Let's see here. Let me go through the sizes here, and I will be talking about the sizes a lot as I cut. But I want to actually, let's just cut, because that'll help you get a feel for what we're doing. So this is a good way to use up your DSP stash. And remember, we've talked about your designer series paper and how it's beautiful and nobody wants to cut it. Cut it. It's so gorgeous. Who wouldn't love a card like this? So we're going to talk about cutting it up. It is 12 by 12. I'm going to show you some of the papers first. Look at this. Isn't this gorgeous? So it's got a great bunch of colors in it here. And you are going to see both sides of this cardstock. Would that not be the most adorable wedding card or bridal shower card? It's got the silver metallic sparkle in it. And this color here is Berry Burst. And we have that Berry Burst ribbon that has the silver through the edges. Would be adorable. But look. So this is, that to me looks like an ice skater. Is that not like an ice skater's costume? So funny. But it's all beautiful, and it's going to be going away. So you definitely want to get in that, and that's what I used because my mom would love that card. And she's going to love it. All right. We're going to cut starting with a 12 by 12. And as I said, you're going to be able to get 2 of these cards out of a 12 by 12 piece of paper. You're going to have a little bit left. Really not a lot, which is my favorite thing, is not to have waste. But it is going to be an inch by 12. So it's not an insignificant chunk. 1 by 12 you could definitely use to help enhance another card for sure. All right, but in the meantime, let's get cutting. So since it is, I'm going to bring in my trimmer here for you. Since it is 12 by 12 and our piece here needs to be, it's almost half. Look, it's almost half of that, right? It is 5.5 by 12. So we are going to just go ahead first and just cut the 1 inch off. Now, if your paper is directional, do you know what I mean by directional? If your paper has a very definite, this is one of the pieces in there. Ooh, are you going blind? It has a definite direction, right? It definitely goes this way. If you want your card to go along this, if you want it to be across your card horizontally like this, then you need to be careful when you cut. You also, if you want it to go vertically, you know, you would need to plan ahead. That's all you have to do. So if I wanted my card to go this way, horizontally, my first cut would be off of this, the same direction. I'd take 1 inch off, okay? All right, I hope that was clear. If not, you can always send me nasty comments here. No nasty comments, seriously. I'll just delete them. I like positive, happy people. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and trim off 1 inch. When I trim off 1 inch, see, this is what I'm talking about, my leftover. I could still use that to enhance another card, and I'm saving it because I will. All right, so now I'm left with 12 inches here, right, and 11 inches here. I'm going to cut this at 5.5 because, remember, 5.5 is the normal size it would fit in our envelope. Okay, I've got 2 cards here. See it? 2 cards. All right, I'm going to set this aside for now, and I'm going to go ahead and score this while I've got us going here. So this is now 5.5 by 12. I'm going to move my cutting blade way out of the way because otherwise I'll cut. You remember how this has a scoring blade? It's the light gray. Cutting blade is the dark gray. All right. I am going to set this up to score. I'm going to score it at 4 1/4. Because remember, 4 1/4 by 5.5, standard card. So 4 1/4, and then 8.5. So to do 8.5, I'm going to pull this out. Ugh. How about that swing arm, right? It gives you a chance to, let's see, 8.5. Okay, so here's my card. When I fold it, it's going to look like that. So the front is going to be solid. The inside is a little bit narrower. That's okay. It's supposed to be, right? Mine is. You can see the underneath that way. All right. Okay. So that is good. And I'm going to set that aside for now. That is all I'm going to do with my designer series paper. But with my cardstock, I'm going to need to do some cutting too. So this next stuff, the next stuff that I'm going to be cutting is this layer here. See this layer? This is on this card, it is Fleur de Flamingo. And on the one we're going to stamp, it is Fleur de Flamingo. But I really want to teach you how to cut this so that you can get 2 cards out of 1 piece of colored cardstock with very little waste. Okay, so this piece here is, this piece here, you may not actually be able to get it out of 1 piece. You might have to go to 2 pieces, but it's still going to be the most effective way to cut it. So anyway, this piece here and this piece here are exactly the same size, okay? They are both 3 1/4 by 4 1/4, okay? 3 1/4 by 4 1/4. This one here is a normal size card panel, this Fleur de Flamingo one here. On this particular card, I really could have gotten away with not putting a layer there, right? Because it's so homogeneous here. And actually on this one, because I'm going to use the blue, I could actually get away with not putting a layer on that one too if I decided to do that. That would be okay. Okay, so and then this one, this Fleur de Flamingo one here is going to be 5 1/4 by 4. All right, so it's just smaller than a normal size card base. And then we're going to cut some white too. We're not going to cut the white on the show today or on the video today because you're going to kind of see how to do that by using the color. But in the meantime, let's get cutting. So since I know that this measurement here is 4 1/4, this is an 8.5 by 11. 4 1/4 and 4 1/4 is 8.5, right? So I'm going to cut this first cut at 4 1/4. Okay, and now I'm going to cut my pieces, my smaller pieces. Now my 2 smaller pieces, because I need 2 of them, I'm just going to rotate it. It's 4 1/4 here. I'm going to cut it at 3 1/4 here, and then 3 1/4 here. Okay, so those are my 2 pieces that I need for my first card. I'll go ahead and cut, since I've got this piece and it's kind of a weird shape. It is 4 1/4 by 4 1/2. I know that since this is the 4 1/4 side, I'm just going to keep cutting here. 4 1/4 by 3 1/4. I don't need this third piece right now. This third piece is going to go for my second card. Okay. I've got a little piece left over here. Now, this piece here, remember it's 4 1/4 because we cut that other one in half. It's 4 1/4 by 11. I'm going to, since it's already 4 1/4, I'm going to go ahead and just cut another 3 1/4 piece off. This is my second card panels, okay? And now I have this piece left. Since I only want to make 2 initially, see, you are going to need 2. I'm going to go ahead and cut my inside panel on this. So the person that I love the most is going to, this is 5. This is 5 1/4. Here we go. By 4. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. The person that I love the most who gets this is going to have the inside panel. The second person is not, and they're not going to know the difference, and it's going to be fine. This is really 1 card, most of 2 cards. This is my only waste here, and it's not a waste because I would definitely punch vases or flowers out of it to make another card, because remember, it can go with this, so definitely gonna be able to use that. All right, and then I would cut my white, and I would be able to make 1 solid card. The pieces of the small pieces of the other one without the inside panel were gorgeous. And now we've got 2 cards. We would have 2 like this that we've already cut, and then the 2 inside, the 2 panels here. All right, I'm gonna move my trimmer out of the way because we don't need it to stamp today. We could. That would be a whole different class though, wouldn't it? Okay, so here's what we're making today. So let's go ahead and get stamping. I am going to be using, let's start with the front panel because you know I'm all about panels and then attaching. So let's start with this. We are going to use, the sentiment comes out of the Abstract Impressions. This will be available June 1st. Again, it's available right now for demonstrators, which is how I got it. But look, it's 3-step stamping. So you can make the most cool, amazing rose ever. I actually did these flowers with this, right? So I stamped this off in mint macaron and then this on in mint macaron, so it's thinner. And then I did this off and then I did this on to give it the 2-tone effect. And it just looks artsy. It's supposed to look kind of messy neat. See that? All right. Okay. So anyway, so we're using the sentiments out of this. There's so much to love about you we're using. And this one, if flowers were hugs, I'd send you 1,000 is here. This, normally we put them the size of the actual stamp, at least in the catalog we do. This one, it'll say right here, the images are 75% smaller. So if you look on your shelf and you're trying to find a sentiment, you think, oh, that's going to be way too small. It's bigger when you stamp it, okay? So be sure that you check the size. All right, so those 2 are from there. This stamp is from the Cake Soiree. This is the Cake Soiree stamp set. It is the one that coordinates with that paper. All right, this is designed to coordinate originally with that paper. And then you are going to also have framelets that match this, and that's what comes as a bundle that's going to be still available in the catalog, but not as a bundle. So we are going to use the Happy Birthday from in there. And then this flower and this leaf, which are the only flowers and leaves that I used, would be this flower and this leaf. You could actually do a 2-step stamp with this. It's designed to do that. I didn't. I just wanted it to be quick. So I'm going to do it like this. I've already taken them out, actually. These are red rubber. Okay, so we don't need our mat to stamp with that, but we are going to need our mat to stamp with these because they are photopolymer. Look, I've already loved them very much. So while I'm stamping, I will talk to you a little bit about photopolymer stamps. But in the meantime, I do want to tell you that you're going to want a mat with these because they are photopolymer. So let's unbury our mat. Here are all my parts, by the way, my pieces. All right, so since I am going to be stamping off the edge a little bit, I am going to make sure that if I were to stamp off the edge and I needed a mat, I would just slide it under here, right? And then I've got it. I don't on this because it's the part that stamps off the paper is red rubber. So for this one, I don't need the mat. I will for the sentiment. So let's go ahead and get started. I just need one of my smaller pieces here. You know, let's go ahead and use the mat first because I'm going to want to, I'm going to want to go ahead and do my sentiment first just in case I make a boo-boo. Not that that ever happens. So a lot of people ask me, because they've seen me in videos before, use Versamark on my photopolymer stamps before I stamp with them so that they don't stain. There are some colors that are just a little more prone to that than others. So this green, when I clean it, it's going to come all the way off. I don't have to worry about that at all. It's going to be fine. The ones that are more saturated, like if I were going to be doing Flirty Flamingo with this photopolymer, I might actually stamp in Versamark first and it will keep it from staining. Okay, so then that's the outside panel. My second inside panel with sentiment, I might as well go ahead and do all my sentiments first, is if flowers were hugs, I'd send you 1,000. That's going to be this one here, and I'm going to do it kind of in the middle. And I'm going to count 1, 2, 3 and lift. Good. All right. And then my third stamp is not going to be photopolymer, but since I already have my green open and I've already put my thumb in it, I'll just go ahead and stamp this happy birthday. Again, this is the red rubber one. So I don't really need the mat. I'm going to pull that out just in case. Ooh, juggling. Did you see that? I caught it. Thumb side up. Green ink. Okay. And I will go ahead. This is also kind of in the middle. So this stamp was designed so that you could actually have it kind of sticking out of a birthday cake. See that little stick? Could be sticking out of this cake. See how that would stick in there? Like one of those little pokers. You know, I don't know. I'm sure poker is probably not the correct term on that. But okay. So all of my sentiments are stamped. I'm going to throw these off the camera and clean them later. Put my thumb in them later, I should say. All right, so now I do want to use, I want to make sure that I'm using my paper underneath because I do want to stamp off the edges a little bit. And as you can see, I'm going to be doing some green leaves in the Old Olive, and then I'm using Flirty Flamingo in here. This color is actually Calypso Coral, but look how well it matches with the Flirty Flamingo. I liked it, so that's what I did. All right, so I'm going to just set the green here because I am going to use it, but I want to put my flowers in first. All right, because my leaves are kind of my filler. And so this is my Flirty Flamingo. Both of these are the older ink pads. So we're going to be getting used to, let's do it this way, just because I'm funny. This is my outside. This is my inside. Okay, so I'm just going to ink, stamp. They don't have to be in any particular place. You just want to make sure you get a couple of them on there. I'm going to get one all the way on. Good, good, good. And then my inside, I want it to be 1,000, right? Because if flowers were hugs, I'd send you 1,000. And I want to get a lot in here. It's going to be fine when my leaves overlap with my flowers. I'm not going to stress out about that. I'm actually good with it. If you were trying for a more precise placement on your leaves than I am, you could definitely use your Stamparatus. And that would, you know, put them right where you want them, but then you'd have to move it around a lot. Okay, so that's a lot of flowers. I'm going to go ahead and, oh no, I want one more on here, right? Yeah, I just want one in the corner. Look at this messy paper. Messy paper means you've been super creative. You get a gold star for the day. Okay, so I've got all that. Now I just need to add my leaves. I'm going to close this up. You can see that once you've cut a couple of these, it really takes no time at all. You're stamping a lot, but it doesn't really take a lot. So what did I do here? I just did a couple of leaves like this. One here, coming off. One here, coming off. Done. And then here, I just randomly stuck some of these leaves on here. So I'm going to open this back up so I can see what I did here before. Yeah, I just randomly put them on there. Be sure that you're rotating your stamp. And be sure that you're inking every time, because if you ink and you stamp off like this, look what happens if I were to try and stamp again. See that line right there? That's what would happen. So you have to ink every time. If you were going to ink and stamp off and you were going off an edge like this, you would ink again, stamp off, and stamp. You wouldn't just do it straight. If that doesn't mean anything to you, if you don't know what I'm talking about, ignore it. It's okay to ignore it. All right. We have lots of leaves and flowers. There we go. And now we're going to add a bunch of leaves onto here. And again, I don't mind if they go over my flowers like that a little bit. If it bothers you, then just don't do it. You could just leave that without leaves too. I just like the extra pop of color that you get in there by adding some leaves. And you see that I am rotating my leaves around a little bit. I don't want them to look like I just did bang, 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 right? I want them to look like maybe real leaves are flying through the air, maybe? I don't know. What do you think? All right. Okay, almost done. Okay, how's that? Looks good to me. Okay, and I've done my third one. I'm done with my stamping, so I can put this part away too. I'm going to start adhering, so I'm going to pull up my chair, and hopefully I'll still be in the frame because I have a tendency to do that to you. Okay, so I know that I cut it. Here we go. Yeah, I did cut it, but that's not it. All right, so I'm going to have to score this one too. So again, I am scoring at 4 1/4 and 8 1/2. I'm just going to do it. It may not be in your frame right now, but don't worry about it. I promise you I'm not doing anything that I didn't just do a couple minutes ago. 4 1/4, 8 1/2. Mine is super, super stiff, which is great. It doesn't flop around when I open it. 8 1/2. Okay. Sorry about that. It was a detour. All right, are we still in frame here for you? Okay, we are. So I'm going to go ahead and fold this up. Also, this is a good time to determine, even on the inside, if your paper is directional. So maybe your paper is not super directional on the outside, like this one, but on the inside it is kind of directional. I really don't know if I would want those going up or down, but this is where I would decide before I started putting stuff together, okay? All right, so now I can go ahead and start gluing. I'm going to go ahead and do this one first. This is my very inside. Get the inside taken care of. Look how green I am. Do you see how much I've inked myself today? Okay. I need one of those desks that you stand up. Or is anybody else a stand-up stamper? Do they stand up when they're stamping? I do sometimes. When I'm gluing, I usually sit. Isn't that funny? I don't know why that is. I'm going to go ahead and glue this. So this is, I am using just my liquid glue. This is my mono glue. This is, as you know, my go-to glue. If you've watched a lot of my videos, this is just definitely the one that I like the most. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and put my panels together. So these are all, again, just straight glued. I am going to add some dimensionals, but not right now. Is it going to freak you out if I do it upside down? Oh, it shouldn't, because it's just a rectangle. Okay, turning just to make you dizzy. Good. And now this one. Okay, that one's going to go in here. And I did cut 2 at a time. Also, when I do a class, I often have some panels left over because I always cut for more people than I need. Just in case I have a last minute straggler who wants to join us. I love stragglers. All right, so this goes in here. And it is going to hang off the edge. See this? Because I actually am centering it in here, right? So it is going to hang off. It is going to hang off the edge a little bit. So when I go to glue it, I am not going to put glue right on this edge. All right, so I'm going to put my hand there so that I remember. Not that I'm that forgetful, but who Who's run into the kitchen before and forgot why they were there? We've all done it. Okay, so there you go. That looks pretty straight, right? I'm going to give that a little press. Sticky. I'm sticky. Okay, and now my last one. Now my last one I am going to put on dimensionals. I wouldn't have to because it's super adorable like this, but I am going to add a little bit of ribbon. I am adding 2 ribbons on this. I am adding, okay, so what I'm not going to tell you is if they're continuing in the next catalog because quite honestly, I just don't remember. I want to say that at least this shimmery one is, but I could be completely wrong. So don't listen to me at all. So it is kind of shimmery. I don't know if you can see that there. It is, it has got a little sheen in it. And this one is actually Calypso Coral. So it is the color that's in the DSP. It's a little different than the Flamingo, but actually it just looks darker. You know, it just looks like the same color, only a little bit darker. I'm going to cut that off at an angle. Let's cut this way. And let's cut this way. Okay, good. And then I'm, you know what I am going to do? Sometimes when I'm doing ribbon, no, pretty much always when I'm doing ribbon, I put a little snail. Open the snail. I put a little snail on the back of my card. And then when I go to put my ribbon on, I can stick it to that snail back here and it just holds it in place. Sorry, guys. I should take a sip. I'm going to take a sip of my coffee. And that one was a sneeze. It sounds just like a cough, doesn't it? It's horrible. Nobody ever blesses me. Okay. Oh, too far. So the good thing about putting the snail there is I can actually move it then like that. So I just moved it over. Tie it up. And that snail, what that does really, it just holds it in place long enough for me to figure out exactly where I want it. That is one of my very favorite tips and tricks that I use snail for. Because I don't use a lot of it, as you know. Some people like it. I find that it really depends on your environment. If you're humid or not humid, as to how well it really sticks down for you. So you kind of have to play with what adhesive works best for you. For me, always this Tombow. All right, and now I'm using Calypso Coral Baker's Twine. Also, don't know if this, actually, I don't even know if this one's current, but it just matched so well, and I just happened to have it hanging out, so I thought I would just go ahead and use it. Cut that off. Cut that off. This Baker's Twine, come to think of it, I don't think it is current because it's super thick. All right. Oh. Big mess. All right. I'm going to add my dimensionals. Of course, only when you're taping or in church do you ever start to cough like that. Oh, actually, it could be the giggles. Giggles happen too, also in church. Okay, here we go. Now, a lot of people don't know how many dimensionals to use. You know me. Don't get too close to the edge because then you'll be able to see them. But you want to make sure that you use one kind of in the middle because you don't want a saggy bottom. Nobody wants a saggy bottom. All right. And now I can just stick that on there. It's, even though it's many layers, it's not super high profile, so it's still going to fit in a regular envelope. And that's going to make me super happy so I can get it in the mail to my mom. And there you go. So we're all set with that one. Thank you so much for stopping by. If you see anything that you love here and you want to place an order, by all means, you can visit my website here, or you can also contact me and I will help you with your order, help you find the best way to use your crafting dollars. But thank you so much. If you don't have a demonstrator, I would love to be yours. So please be sure that you subscribe to this video. And if you hit the little bell, you'll get a notice every time I post a new video, so you just won't miss a crazy thing. Thank you so much for stopping by. Bye-bye.